So hello everyone, this is your Krishna from Women Today YouTube channel. So in this channel, we have been interviewing many women entrepreneurs and working women across different cities in India. We are just traveling to different cities. We are doing offline interviews and we are also doing online interviews across different cities and across different countries in the world. So today's our guest is from Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, and her name is Priyanka Pandey. So she is a great parenting mentor. She is doing a lot of strategies regarding parenting. So I welcome you, Priyanka Pandey, ma'am, to this Women Today YouTube channel. So please kindly introduce about yourself, about the kind of professional work that you're doing to the audience who are watching this interview right now, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Krishna, for welcoming me, inviting me, in fact, to the Women's Today YouTube channel. It's a great platform that you've started on to interviewing the entrepreneur women. So great job. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm originally from India, born and brought up in India. I was working in human resource and then I got married, came to Canada, and then I became a mom. So that's where my journey started for the parent mentor. I became a mom. I have two kids, 7 years old and 4 year old. And I left my full-time job. I used to work as a human resource manager out here. I left that full-time to take care of my kids and to start my own business. And I started my own business where now I'm coaching parents on one-on-one mentorship for them, for parents, grandparents, and we work around the behavior management skills for kids from 0 to 7 year old, and also teaching leadership skills to kids younger. Because when I was in human resource, I realized that a lot of people are lacking leadership skills, and that's the reason why I did not get selected in that interview. I couldn't tell them at that point, but there were little things like leadership skills that were missing. So I decided to teach them to the child from a young age so that we have a better future altogether when it comes to leadership and people succeeding in their endeavors growing up.
That's a great kind of what to say, different from HR, and this is something like totally dealing with kids. Dealing with
Yes.
HR is something like you will deal with professionals, you will deal with graduates who is up to a skill level in different departments, but dealing with kids is something like you have to teach them right from the beginning. You have to introduce them to the world, which is actually changing for each and every decade, because before 2 decades, early during the 90s, people do not know what's internet, and now it's like everything without internet there's nothing. So it keeps on changing. So it's like what to say, if you want to read about a kid's mind, you should totally get into their minds. You should get into their shoes, and you should analyze what kind of things that they'll be going through. Then only you'll be able to become the perfect parent mentor. So tell me, ma'am, being a HR in your kind of profession, you totally decided that you wanted to dedicate your lifetime towards the parent mentor kind of department, which is totally extreme. So tell us what inspired you and what made a change so that you want to quit your job and you want to land in this kind of department, which is totally like new to the society, ma'am.
Yeah, see it in a nutshell, like in a broader perspective, it looks like totally different, right? But when you look at it in a minute perspective, it's the same. It's the same industry. It's the same thing. What we're doing in human resource, what do we do in human resources? We connect with humans. Isn't that correct? Like I started recruiting people, right? So I was talking to like hundreds of people a day back home in India, and I was talking to so many people, connecting with them. So how do you close a position when I was a human resource executive as a recruiter was through connection, understanding the person, and then that person explaining them about the job. So connection. Again, it was more like connection, relationship building with people. What do? You connect so much with your candidates that you are able to close that position. You're like a bridge between that organization and that candidate. You serve that organization well. So that approach, it looks different. It's the same thing. Reading the minds, like you said, right? You have to get into the minds of your kid. You have to get into their shoes. So when you're handling employee queries, how do you handle employee queries? You handle those queries by actually understanding the employee, not just at a superficial level, right? An employee will not be able to share things with you if you are not 100% in their shoes and able to understand them and willing to talk to them, walk them through the difficulties they're having in an organization, right? So same concept goes into my parenting. So when I became a mom, like I said, who am I? I'm a mom. I'm just a mom, okay? So I'm a mom who learned through her experiences. Before being a mom, I read a lot of books on parenting. And then when I became a mom, I realized that this is so crucial. What we're trying to accomplish when people go into the entrepreneur world or going to an employee world or have their own business or whatever it may look like, right? They have to learn certain skill sets. What if we teach them to the kids is what came to my mind straightforward. And then I thought, okay, I can get into my kids shoes, I can make them understand, I can connect with them, and I can raise human beings that are so much connected with me. They understand me, I understand them, there is a beautiful bond, and then we raise the kids. So this was my mentality. So I thought I did that for about 6 years in my parenting. I did not think about quitting my job. And when I successfully did that, and when everywhere I would go, people will say, "What are you doing with your kids? How are they, like listening, or maybe, how are they communicating? How are they doing this? So then I started telling this to my friends. They were watching, they were watching us, they asked advice, then they had a behavioral issue, I was helping them. That's how it all started. And then I thought, you know what, I can do it at a larger scale. So I started my Instagram last year, in May, at the end of the May, I would say, tail end of the May, 2024, and it started, reaching audience. People started liking it, people started sharing it. So then I realized there is a market for it. So by the time December came, I quit my job. I'm like, I'm gonna go full time on it. So I gotta coach parents full time about it. So I understand the psychology of the brain already because I was in human resource. And then I decided to just go full all in on it. And I've been helping parents, helping their issues out, helping them to be a very confident, as a confident mom, confident grandfather, grandmother. So yeah, it's kind of a beautiful journey in itself, if it answers your question.
So I totally understand that without quitting your job, you started experimenting these kind of things. But 100% when you made yourself sure that, okay, we are good at it, you just quit your job and you just landed in it. That's a kind of good strategy of quitting your job, because without knowing whether we are expert in this field, we won't able to decide whether we can able to 100% quit this job within our soul, full satisfactory. That's the kind of thing which we need in our life. Our soul should get satisfied. But you are just totally blessed, I think, because dealing with kids like is nothing like everyone can do. It's like only certain people can do, because as I told you in the beginning of the interview, it's like getting into their minds. We can actually train some, being a HR, we can actually train many different graduates graduating in any kind of departments, either it may be in medicine or arts or even in engineering or any kind of things. But dealing with a kid is something like you can't able to analyze what's actually running in their minds. You will be thinking of something and they'll be having something in their mind. So it's like totally different. I do understand that you had something. So tell us, ma'am, what are the most difficulties that you face being a parent mentorship? Is it like people in the beginning, they will be telling you like, okay, you are perfect, but not to the level. So tell us, what kind of reviews were you getting when you were doing this kind of parent mentorship during your early days, ma'am?
So my reviews,
Yeah,
reviews on me.
your reviews, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, I want to just take something that you just said and grab onto that and then answer this question. You said that dealing with kids is not, which is, everybody can do, right? But you know what the irony is? Everybody have to do it. They have to do it. Whether they do it well or not is the thing. And again, I go back to what I have learned in HR. When I'm in HR, I have hired people from entry level to senior most vice presidents of the organizations, right? So I have had that experience talking from anybody starting like graduates to I have most hiring was my managers, senior managements, vice presidents, and all of that, right? So I have done that. So what I realize is it's the skill that a person has learned. throughout. From the beginning, they've learned that skill, and they are at that level because of the skills that they've learned. So similarly in parent mentorship, or when a parent, they can't, like you said, everybody, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Yes, because they lack the skill. What if we can teach them the skill? That's my job as a parent mentor. I can't tell somebody that, oh no, you can't handle a kid because you don't have a skill. That's my job, to teach them that skill. That is what I am here for. That is what I do. I teach them that skill, that script, that technique to handle that behavior, or read their child's mind. How do you read your child's mind? So everything has an answer. So I can't tell them that, you don't know, so you can't do it. Anybody can do it if they set their mind to it. Okay, so that's number one. And then the second thing is the reviews I got. Honestly, can I be very blunt and honest upfront?
Sure.
I don't care about the reviews. I do not care about what other person's opinion is about me, because of the fact that this is what I'm teaching the person, this is what I'm teaching my child. Do not have any baggage on your heart or your minds of other person's opinion. That's their opinion, that's their understanding, that's how they see the life. So the positive reviews that I got, of course, that's amazing. That gives me a boost of motivation, but it does not take my confidence. It is not the only thing I rely on, the positive reviews. I rely on myself. I know I am confident. I know my capabilities. I know the way I communicate with people and help them. So how I started, why did I quit my job so soon? Because even though, in like 6 months, it's soon. Why did I quit my job? I quit my job because I know deep down within myself that what I'm doing is for a greater cause. It's going to help people. It is helping people. I have seen, because I help my friends with a problem. So if I can I give you an example here. One of my friends, okay, so at that time I was not a parent mentor. She came and she was my child was 3.5 years old, and my daughter was like about 4 months old. And she called me and she said, Priyanka, my child, every time I'm in the car, every time I'm sitting in the car and I'm singing, because we Indians, we like to sing. We are singing na 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 na, whatever song, Bollywood song is going on in our mind. We're singing that. So she's singing that, and her child goes from the back seat and said, because the child has to be strapped here, buckled up. He's all strapped up, buckled up, sitting in the back seat of the car, and says, "Mama, stop singing." Okay, one time, second day again, because as a parent, you're driving, you're also a person, you sing. If you're a person who wants to sing, loves to sing, you sing. And the child goes, "Mama, stop, I don't like it." Okay, now that's a challenge. So that mom, she's my friend, but she knows how I'm parenting. She calls me and she says, Priyanka, what do I do? My child is always saying this. Okay, so I said, okay, are you ready to make a change? First, she said, yeah. I'm tired, this is something that is bothering me, like the way he's communicating, and I also want to sing, right? So sometimes it just comes out. So what do I do? So I said, okay, then let's do this. Okay. So number one, the child has the right to speak up. The child has the right. If he doesn't like it, he has the right to speak up. But whether or not the child speaks up in a respectful way, the manner the child communicates is what we have to control as a parent. We have to be the leader of the child. We do not have to be led by our child. Okay. So how do we teach our child to have an approach? I don't look at my child as a child. I look at my child as an adult who's communicating to another adult when they grow up. Okay. So how, if there is a child in my backseat, I'm not thinking there's a child in the backseat. I'm thinking that's an adult in the backseat. And how should that adult talk to another adult? So I said, okay, let's teach him the script. It's called errorless modeling. How do you model? It's errorless. Why is it called errorless? Because you're teaching, you're modeling it so that the child does not make any error. That's exactly what you want to teach a child. Okay. So I said, okay, so go to him and say, I understand you do not like the way I talk. Or sorry, I understand that you're not comfortable with the singing. So how about you tell me, Mama, I do not I do not like when you sing. Can you please stop? So she said, will it work? I said, I don't know. You have to try it and then see if it works. But if you say in a disrespectful tone, you are mirroring you, he will be mirroring you. So you have to be calm, composed. You say, I understand you don't like when I sing. Can you just say, Mama, can you please stop singing? It's bothering me. Or just if the child was like that, her child was at that time 2.5 years old. So that those are too many words for a 2.5 years old. So she can just say, Mama, please stop singing. And she said that when he said it again, she said, Mama, please stop singing. And then he said, okay, Mama, please stop singing. So she said, okay, I will not sing. She stopped singing. Then again she said, and then I told her one more thing. Try. Always don't teach a behavior. Always test the behavior. Is it working or not? Okay. Always test the behavior to see if it's bulletproof or not. So she tried again. She said, she started singing again. No, 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 no. And then he again said, Mama, please stop. And she called me after 2 days and she said, this works. This works. And then I was like, yeah. So now I have another point here. If a mother does not want to stop, she really wants to sing. Okay. So our first thing was to change that tone of the child to make it respectful. Now when the tone is changed, now the kid is not screaming at you. Now the child will say, Mama, stop singing, please. You say, you know what, baby, I really want to sing it. Can I just finish? I want to finish my one stanza and then I'll stop. How about that? And the child will say yes or no, and then you can also start singing with your child. So you don't have to stop singing as a parent altogether. You can do whatever you want to. You have to live your life the way you want to, but have other elements. So when I saw these things, so that told me, yes, I can do it. I can teach other parents as well. And if I get a positive review, great. If I don't get it, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's from a very humble, I know what I'm doing. I'm changing lives. I know what I'm doing with my kids. So this is what I'm teaching my kids to do. Not take other people's opinion.
That's a great thing, ma'am. So, have you seen the movie named as Aprachit? That's a Hindi movie. It's actually a Tamil movie which is dubbed in Hindi. Have you seen it? So you haven't seen it. Okay, I will tell you the concept of it. It's very simple. Okay. So in that movie, the hero will be having three characters. One will be like an innocent character. One will be like a character which is so much devilish. It will be like, because that character wanted to be too much like genuine. That's why it's too much devilish. And the third character will be like too much romantic. So these two characters will be existing in one person. But when one personality is coming out, then he or she, that hero will not be knowing that the other two characters are himself. He'll be thinking like that other two characters are totally a different person. So it's called split personality. So split personality is something like very few humans will be having, like some person will be having like 10 split personalities. Some people will be, I think before 10 to 15 years, there is an article where one person was having more than 100 personalities. So when I'm talking to you, I'm the person talking to you, but the 99 other split personalities will be dead inside. Only when time comes out, the other personality comes. So that person will not be knowing like, okay, he'll be like, after that split personality things goes on and he comes back to the normal one, he'll be thinking like, am I the one speaking like that? So that's totally different person. I didn't even speak like that. So in the same way, whenever I'm speaking to you, I'm just seeing like for past 5 minutes, you're going into two modes. One is a normal mode, Priyanka Pandey, a parent mentor, and the other one is the kid which is coming out from you. That kid is talking. I can see literally that one. It's not the conversation between Priyanka Pandey and Krishna over here. It's sometimes between the kid who actually wants to do something. Yeah, I do understand. Also, at the same time, the conversation which you told, that a simple concept that whenever you're talking to the kid, you must know what they're actually telling. You must try to give a respect to them. Because most of the people, like 99% of the people in India, I don't want to tell the rest of the world because I do not know. But in India, wherever you go, it's like south or north or east or west. If some kids, like it may be like 5 years or 7 years old kid, if they're used to talk something to the back to the parent or the elders, anybody, they'll be telling like behave like a kid. So the thing is that they are not trying to understand that the kid is actually, like, what to say, there is an evolution which is happening in the kids. Like before
Yeah.
10 to 20 years, if we just go and speak to the kids, it will be like a gentle manner. Every kids will be talking sweetly. But nowadays, when I'm going to talk to a kid who is just studying like first or second standard, if I talk to them like, hi, how are you, what are you doing, can you have some sweets, they'll be telling like, LKG boy. They'll be telling me as an LKG boy. So that's the thing, how kids are I mean, they're evolving actually. Also, at the same time, you told the right thing, like, okay, we should try to understand what the kids are saying, and only when we give respect to the words, we should treat them as an adult. That's the right way to treat a kid. Yeah, of course, we should treat them as an adult. Only when we think them as an adult, we'll be giving them respect, and we'll be trying to analyze what they're actually telling, and we will be trying to get a solution for it. So that's what you're trying to do right now. So that's actually
Absolutely.
great.
There is a golden rule, Krishna. Okay. It's not what I have made it. If you type on Google, what's the golden rule? The golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. I don't know who said it. It's quote unquote. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So if you want to be treated with respect, you have to treat the other person with respect. Doesn't matter if it's a kid, if it's a 0-year-old, just a newborn kid, you cannot disrespect that kid too. That's my philosophy. So that's what I have learned, and that's how I succeeded in my parenting, and that's how I am able to help others as well, to bring that concept back, basically. And when our parents, and it's just not you, I think everybody growing up at this age, when we are back home, what we've seen is, when you ask questions, you're disrespecting people, but when you ask, but it has very huge, when the kids grow up, it has a very huge psychological impact on their mental health when they grow up, because they're not supposed to ask any questions, like, why did you ask a question? I was talking to one of my friend, and she's a Canadian, and she said, she doesn't mind me quoting her name somewhere. Her name is Shana, and Shana said to me that, Priyanka, when we were kids, we went we would to go somebody's we would go to somebody's house, and we said, we could not even ask for food if we were hungry. We could not ask. My parents said, no, you can't ask questions. So she was so scared, and growing up, she had a lot of mental issues, health, mental challenges, and she said it was because I was so curbed in, I was not allowed to ask questions, I was not allowed to answer, talk back. And it's not about talking back. You can talk back with respect. Totally. You can ask questions with respect, totally, but that's what she was given a pause on. So that's how it impacted her mental health. So she said to me, when she was like, wow, you let your kids ask questions. I'm like, yes, I do. Because I don't want them to blindly follow the things what are happening in the world. Like, if I would ask my dad was very good in that. He gave me great leadership principles. He would answer my questions if I asked him nicely. Even my mom would answer my questions. But in a broader perspective, if you look at that, they don't answer. So kids are gentle, yes, they're behaving, but deep down, they are actually suffering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What to say? I have to say this because your friend, you told me that she had a past history, that it's not good for the child history. Like, what to say? Shwana was dealing with parents who told that not to speak back when elders do, and also at the same time, if you go anywhere, they are not given a kind of rights to even ask for food when they're hungry. It's basically an Indian thing. It's basically an Indian thing
But
because,
she's not an Indian. She's a Canadian born.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing you told me, right? Oh, that's the thing. And also, why? Because is that Indian parents usually tell that not to take food from strangers, because to make sure that
Oh,
the
yeah.
kids are in the safe mode. But being a Canadian is something like the culture totally differs, but I'm hearing this for the first time. Maybe they could have told them for the same purpose to keep the kids in the safe mode. But right
Yeah,
now,
I don't know.
but
See, even she doesn't know, right? I asked that question to her. She also doesn't know because she was not allowed to even ask that. Why? Like, even at the home, she couldn't ask her parents, why? Why did you not let me ask if I'm hungry? Why didn't you even let me ask for food? Like, why? No, that she doesn't know the answer.
then that's a
So
case.
that's such an irony, right?
That's I want to tell this as a simple thing. That's a kind of different parent mentorship that they do have. I do not want to go and kind of do a kind of judgment what's
Yeah,
happening in
analysis,
that. We,
analysis.
we
Yeah.
can just we can just simplify things. Whatever parents are telling to the kids, it's for the good for the children. So that's what I have one thing in my mind. And also tell
Okay.
us, ma'am. So in today's world, many kids are having, of course, independence, but independence should come with a boundary, like what to say, each and every country, of course, each and every tourist are allowed to travel in every part of the world except for a few countries. But the thing is that they are given a visa, a time period, a kind of boundary to each and every country, so that we can maintain some respect and kind of independence which we can express in that country. So
Yeah.
it applies same with our kids. So tell us, how can we actually maintain the boundary to our kids, and tell us how can we establish some discipline within the kids and within this boundary limits, because each and every kids, of course, they should have a kind of discipline in their life. Of course, every motivation fades away with the kind of days, time, and everything. But if we have a proper discipline, then we can achieve whatever things we want in our life. And also, this kind of discipline should come with a boundary. That boundary should not be a compact one. It should be limited with the kind of things where we can actually work things out. So tell us about these two kinds of different extremes, ma'am.
Two things. Okay, great. That again a great question, Krishna. You asked me another one great question. So let me tell you first, and I love the way you have all these examples, right? I love it because I think you're also like kind of a thinker. You connect with examples, you give examples. I love that about you. So great job on that. Okay, so yeah, I love the visa and the boundary one. The that scenario when you talked about. Great. Okay, so let me first tell you what is discipline. A lot of parents go wrong in that one term discipline. Discipline doesn't mean punishing your kids. Discipline doesn't mean yelling at your kids, screaming at your kids, or telling them what to do, what not to do. Discipline in simple language means to teach. Discipline means to teach. Discipline doesn't mean consequences. Okay. So, discipline, when it means to teach, the simple thing for us to teach as a kid is whatever skills they are lacking, we teach them that skill. That's all discipline means for me, as per me, according to me, and the English dictionary says discipline means to teach. So, what I want to tell you right now is no kid is born by knowing ABCD, right? Correct? You
Exactly.
agree to that, right?
Exactly.
How do we teach them ABCD? We teach them ABCD. We tell A is for apple, B is for ball. We teach them. We repeat it. How do we teach ABCD to kid? That's how you teach each and every behavior to the kid. You teach it. Don't expect the kid should know it. A is for apple. Okay? Mama, can you please give me water? That's A is for apple. Okay, you teach that to the kid. And then repetition. A is for apple, A for apple, A is for apple, apple. There are different ways of telling the same thing. A is for apple. So you say the same thing again and again, repeat to your kids. Okay, 100 times later, after 100 times, they will know that. So whatever skill you want, for example, if there is a parent who says, my child throws the toys on the ground, he gets mad, angry, just throws the toy. Now, I want to discipline my child. Okay. What do you mean? I want to discipline my child. What you need to do is teach them what to do instead. So, number one, connection before correction. Okay. So, you have that connection. Even with 1 year old, you can do that. So, you have that connection with your child. You say, I love you. You have that connection building time with the child. To your child, you say, we do not throw things on the floor when you're upset. Okay. I know you're upset. I know I know you're upset. You cannot throw things. What are the things that we can do? Okay, we will put the toy here. You say, Mama, I am upset. I'm upset. Okay. And they will not know. You think, oh, a lot of people in India, back home, told me, oh, you're teaching your kids so early, they don't even understand. At one, who kid understands? Two, they're too young to understand. That's a myth. Kids understand with repetition. I tell my child, I'm the authority. So he knows, he doesn't know the meaning of authority, he doesn't know the consequences, but I say you'll have consequences for the behavior. Okay. So now he knows there is consequence, there is a meaning of consequence, they can relate to it. No, we don't throw things we don't throw things when we're angry. We say, Mama, I'm upset. Okay, you can say that. So when you teach that to the kids repeatedly, they will learn that skill.
Okay.
Simple as that. Whatever you want, your kids are running away on the road, you can teach them how to stay with you. There is a red light, there is a green light. You only go when there is a green light. You only cross on the pedestrian, whatever. I mean, in India, of course, there is not zebra crossing everywhere, but here we have pedestrian crossings, right? So you cross on the pedestrian crossings and things like that, right? So now boundary. Let me talk about boundaries. Okay, boundaries doesn't mean something that the kid does. Okay, boundary is something you do. There is a very wrong definition of boundary going out there. Boundary is something that you do if your kid is doing something, or if somebody else is doing something. For instance, I will give you an example. Okay, so you say, okay, don't throw the toys. Don't throw the toys. Again, throwing the toys. Don't throw the toys. Don't throw the toys. The kid will again throw the toys. Then you say, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you, I've told you 15 times not to throw the toys. You're throwing the toys again. So where is the boundary? How does the boundary come in picture? The boundary is you go to your child firm and strict and you say, hey, I know you want to throw the toys, but if you want to throw, if you can play with it. If you throw the toy, I'm going to take the toy away from you and put the toy on a timeout. Okay? And then the kid will look at you and he will throw the toy looking at you the first time, because it's a power struggle. Okay? Then you don't have to yell, you don't have to scream, you don't have to do anything. You just go, oh, you made a choice of throwing the toy. You pick up that toy. That's your control. That's your boundary. Okay? You put the toy up over the fridge or somewhere on top. Okay? Now the kid will scream, yell, throw a tantrum, and they want the toy. Now you have to hold that boundary. Very firm and strong. You say, yeah, I know you're sad because your toy is on a timeout. I understand. We're going to calm down together. Okay? So you help that kid calm down now, but you don't give the toy to the kid. Just because you have to teach them how to not throw the toy. So this is how I taught my child not to scribble on the wall, not to run away on the roads, not to jump on the couch, So I held my boundary. I said, okay, they're jumping. You can jump on the bed. I mean, come on. My kids jump on the bed all the time. Okay. But I say, you can jump on the bed. Then if they jump on the couch, I say, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to lift you, put you down on the floor. You can jump on the floor or on the bed. If you jump on the couch again, I'm going to lift you up and put you down. Okay, so that's my boundary. This is what I will do. Boundaries when the other person doesn't have to do anything. It's just me who is taking actions. Okay, so this is what I do. And then if they jump on the couch, I said, yeah, I understand you want to jump. I have to pick you up. I pick them up and I put them down. And then do not let them up on the couch. I may sound very rude to the other people in my house, or they may say, like, look at this, she's so strict, she's not letting her do her child anything. No, it's none of that. If you look in from the other perspective, I'm actually raising kids who are really independent, and they will really learn how to stick to the boundaries.
Yeah, I do understand that certain things trigger kind of tantrums. Like we have to actually maintain the power. Like as you said, like if you want to make your kid to not to do certain things, the first thing which happens with the kids is the power. Whether you have the power or whether your kids having the power. So the kids' mentality will be like, okay, let's try our power. let's try our best.
Always.
So if you are not able to do it, then we can just give up to the parents. I do understand.
Yeah,
So
always.
I wanted to ask this one single question, which is a common question, which is happening around 99% about each and every parent across each and every corner in the world. Tantrums which is thrown by our kids. Because if they need something in their life, they will just throw tantrums. Papa, mama, I just need it. I just need it. Please buy it. It's not only for 2-year-old kid. It's not for 5-year-old kid. It's not for 8-year-old kid. It's for each and every age category kids. They'll be like, if you're not going to buy me one single thing, then I'm not going to go and study. I'm not going to do this work. So tell us, how can you actually make discipline towards your kid, making understand that okay, we need, even though at some point of time the parents will not be having enough money to get the product which the kid actually wants to have, and some other point of time the kid's parent will be having a lot of money, but the thing is that whenever they give the kind of product what the kid needs, it's not the good way of being a good parent. So at the point of time, if you want to just take away the tantrum of the kid and consider a situation, like I have many of my friends with kids, and I have seen things like the kid will be having like enough toys in the house, like literally they will be having the separate room for toys for the kids. But the thing is that even though having a lot of toys, at one point of time, what happened is that the kid was crying for a small balloon. Without a balloon, and the kid was crying for past 1 hour. Daddy, mama, papa, I want a balloon. I want a balloon. And
Yeah.
the kid here was around 2 years old. 2-year-old kid, and he was just telling this, crying, and we don't know what to do. We are in the middle of the road, and we are just stuck. Like what to say? If you want to go and get a balloon, it's like more than half an hour. It's an easy thing to go and get a balloon, but the thing is that it's at midnight, and we don't know what to do at that point of time. And the kid was just having tantrum till, but they had one simple kind of procedure. They just diverted the kid's mind by telling some other things. So consider a situation like this happens, like it may be for any, so in today's world, like what to say, an 18-year-old guy is just throwing tantrums to get him a bike. If the parents are not getting him a bike, then he will not going to college, he's not going to school, something like that. So tell us, what should one parent do to throw away the tantrums, and how can a good parenting can be done right from the childhood? So tell us your experience about it, ma'am.
Okay. Again, a great question. Okay, you're asking me all the great questions. So let's begin with that. So let me tell you, number one, why tantrums happen. Okay, tantrums, like you said, your friend's daughter had a tantrum at the midnight, right? So probably she's sleepy. Okay, that's why the tantrum happened. They do not realize what's happening. They just go stuck on one thing, and they just scream about that one thing, because they do not know how to control their emotions regulations. Tantrum can happen because of hunger, sleep deprivation, because they are overstimulated, there is too much noise around that. So those are the reasons of tantrum. Okay, I don't want to get into that right now. Let's talk about how do we handle this thing when a kid wants something really bad. How did we shape that? So that's a different kind of, that's mostly like they have this strong urge of buying something, satisfying their need immediately. Okay, so this comes from number one, how the parents are satisfying their needs also. Okay, so let me tell you an example. They go to the mall and they say, wow, I love this t-shirt, I'm going to buy it right now. Okay, the child is always listening, always hearing. Okay, they are excellent observers but poor interpreters. Okay, children are excellent observers, they're poor interpreters. So what they do is, they're always watching, or their mom is they want something. Yeah, I really want to go here today, and then they go. The child hears that. Okay, so then the child is also learning that mindset of instant satisfaction, instant gratification. Okay, so that is the problem. The problem is not the tantrum, the problem is this instant gratification, instant that urge of getting something. So when you're in the mall, imagine, you're with your kid, you go and you say, okay, I like this outfit or I like this lipstick. I'm not going to buy it today, I'm going to buy it 2 days after. So your child is listening. Okay, they're observing, so then they will also learn that, so how fair is it if you are going and buying and fulfilling all your demands, or whether you have money or not doesn't matter, you have this Michael Kors bag, you have this Gucci watch, I'm just saying, you go over and above, and the kids are hearing that. You go and you say, I don't have the money, but I really want to show my other friend that I want to have this watch too, so I'm going to buy it. So the kid is hearing those things always. Okay, so number one, that's the thing. But number two, if that is not the thing, that is, let's talk about the scenario where that's not the thing completely. Okay, the parent have they don't buy instantly, they don't have instant gratifications. Then how to handle that situation? Because we don't say all the parents are like that, they are instantly gratifying themselves, right? No, the world is mix of mixtures, right? So the kid, so for example, a parent who does not instantly gratify themselves, they're not, buying things for themselves, even then the kid wants everything. How do you think that? Number one, get over this parent guilt. Okay, that my kid wants something, I'm such a bad parent, I'm not getting them that. That's like the guilt that a parent have. That's why they fell into the trap of giving that thing to the kid. Okay, so there has to be a rule set in their mind that, okay, I'm not going to give my kid this, I'm going to give it to. So I'll share my example with you. My child was not even two. Okay, we were in Shoppers Drug Mart, and I went there, I went to buy something, and I told my son, we're going to buy this. Okay, and I only had a son that time, I did not have my daughter. So I went to that store and said, we're going to buy this. I don't remember what it was. It was something that I wanted to buy. Okay, so I said, I'm going to go. So he sat down there, and he's not even two. He sat down, and he loves excavators and construction equipments and all of that. So he went there and said, I want this. He looked at it. I said, yeah, it's so pretty, isn't it? It's so amazing. We can't have it today. So number one, if I had that parent guilt, oh, my child wants this excavator, he loves excavator. How can I say? If I'm not convinced, I can't convince my child, right? Right. So I have to come out of that parent gift, shoop out, and come to a individual who's trying to direct their kids, and who's trying, because I'm again looking at my kid as an adult, that who wants a watch. I don't He doesn't need a watch, but it still looks cool, so he wants that watch. No, I'm not giving that watch to the child. Okay, so I went to them and I said, yeah, it's really pretty, it's such a pretty excavator, you can't have it. So my child looks at me and he said, I want it, Mama, please. Mama, please, Mama, please. And he knows sign language, and he goes, please, Mama. And he also can say, so he's doing both the things. Please. Now, again, I'm going into that parent guilt again, okay? Like,
My
imagine my,
friend,
my, my
my
friend.
my friend kid also use the same word. Please, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know
Please, please,
where
please.
he learnt it, but my friend tells that whenever he he never used the word please. Only when we use our power, that strictly we are not going to give you the thing what you want. He'll be asking
Please.
please, please. Other than that, he'll be like, okay, I demand. He'll be demanding, but sometimes he'll be using the word please, please. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the kid goes and says please, because they know it's kind of, manipulative techniques, and not manipulative,
exactly.
that they want really, and they're like going so
Expecting it.
nicely, and they're saying please, please. So I said, yeah, I love your manners. I love how you say please. You know what? We cannot have it today. We can have it another day. So what I do as a parent, I take a picture of that thing from my phone. Okay, I say, I'm going to take a picture of this thing and see if we can have it later or not. You have to earn it. Okay, and then I take a picture of that thing, I bring it home, and sometimes I have taken pictures of 50 things that they wanted in the store. Maybe we have bought two or three later, appropriately what is required, what they really need, right? But I have not bought 50 45 of them because of the pictures I've taken at that time. So I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay, this is my approach, and this is how I work in my parent. I say I'm going to take a picture of this, and then let's see if we really need this thing or not, because there's a difference between a need and a want. And my 2-year-old kid at that time, what he did is he held that excavator, he started walking towards the exit with that. Okay, so I said, I will buy it, is what he said to me. Okay, I will buy it. So as a mother, I could have said, you don't have the money to buy it. Okay, don't try to do that. I could have said all that things, right? Like, you don't have the money. Do you have the money? Go buy it. Show me how do you buy it. Like, no, that's a power struggle again. Okay, so I said, I understand you want to take it. We cannot have it today. What did we come here for? We came here to buy this one thing. We are not buying anything else. And then I held that and I put it back. So he cried, screamed. I handled that. I sat with them. I said, yeah, I know. We need to count. Breathe. Breathe up and down 5 times. And then he calmed down. And then we said, I'm going to take a picture, and we're going to see if we need it or not. We went home, and I do not leave something undiscussed. We come home once the child is calmed down enough, ready to listen to me. I go and I say, you know what, you wanted that thing really too much, right? I know. We have to, you can have that after maybe 15-20 days, when it's time for me to buy you a new toy. That's what I'm going to get. So if they get stuck on anything else between that 20 days, I want this, do you want this or that? And then that. So, that's how I go. And then I have a wish list for them. So I had a wish list, what you wish to have for yourself. So that can be get at the Christmas time, that can be get, during their birthdays, that can come during a special occasion or something like that. So I make sure I buy only that thing when it's like, do they still need it? So I check with them, do you still need that excavator? You have enough. No, I don't need it, mama. I would take a balloon. Okay, great. We'll take a balloon. But for your son, for your friend's daughter, if it's a balloon in the midnight, how you can approach it to say, yeah, I understand you want a balloon in the midnight. It's 12 a.m. right now. It's nighttime. We will talk about it in the morning. Not we will buy it in the morning. We will talk about it in the morning, because the child is so sleepy, so tired, so overstimulated by friends around. They've lost their power of thinking and expressing themselves. So in the morning, you will talk about it. You will not buy it in the morning. And then when you in the morning comes, you talk about it, then you see if you really need it or not. And if it's just a balloon, you really want to go and buy a balloon, it's not a big deal. That's a decision the parent has to make, right?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. I do understand. So,
Yeah.
very complicated things need a simple, calm mind of tackling with kids. Yes, of course. As you said that whenever your kid is throwing a tantrum, make sure that they take a long, deep breath and come. Of course, it's not for kids. It's also for many people who are facing a lot of difficult situations.
Yeah.
If suppose they are going through a lot of anxiety, the only thing they can do is take a long, calm breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deep breath. What that, because that's the thing which will kind of give air to the brain. Only when you can give some air to the brain, it will just calm down, and it will make you to go in a situation where you can just take the right decision. Of course, that's the right way of training, not only through the tantrums, but also 90% most of good decisions, correct decisions, comes from when you do this kind of inhale breathing, because breathing is the kind of thing which determines everything in your life. So I do understand. That's a great thing, ma'am. So one final question for this interview also I wanted to ask is, what's the most common kind of thing, issues which is faced by many parents? Whenever they come to you, they'll be telling this common thing. As a parent mentor, they'll be telling, if my kid is having this kind of issues and I'm facing this kind of issues as a parent, and what kind of solutions do I want to approach so that I can make my kid lead a very good life? So tell us, what is the most common thing that you faced an issue being a parent mentor, and how do you want to solve it, ma'am?
Excellent. So again, the it's very surprising. The answer is very surprising. They come to me from for their parents' like the issues in their kids, and they end up solving their own issues.
That's what I tell you. Because whatever things you tell, it's not only for the kids, it's all for adults. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can tell
So,
me.
so they come to me that the child is having this behavior issue, the child is having this issue, and every session that I do with the parents, almost like 90, like I would say every session, like 99% of the session turns out to be a personal development session for the parents. Okay. So there is so much that is going on within us as parents. Okay. There is so much beliefs we have about ourselves. We are not enough. We are not unique. We are not doing a good job as a parent. We have those stories that people tell us other people are doing better than you are doing. You have so many things that is going on within you as a parent. Your own identity is questioned as a mother, as a father. You don't know who you are. You define yourself based on what other people think about you. So there are these beliefs your family doesn't support. There are people that I'm trying to do this with my kid, but there are other family members who are trying to not follow those things, right? So that kind of not support, that unclarity, that is those things are coming up more, rather than handling their kids issues. People with the nuclear family are able to solve these issues faster than the people who live in joint families, and people who not just joint families but who have other people, friends coming in. They are having more issues dealing with that, because they're thinking about what the other person will think about them. That they have this all belief, right? And they have to do mostly their own healing. So the problems that are coming up are, um I'm trying to do this, but that other person is not supporting. So they come to the parent issue, but then they're so much like they're comparing themselves from the other person. They're always trying to think, okay, if I do this with my kid, what the other person will think about me. They're clarifying themselves too much in front of other family members, right? That is the issue. They're correcting their kid, because what will the father-in-law think if they don't correct the kid, or the mother-in-law think if they don't correct the kid that way, right? So that is the kind of concepts that are coming. So I'm helping a lot with them. I'm helping them through my root method. I talk about it all the time. It's called release, own, operate, and thrive. So we release all the beliefs that you're holding on in your heart, and then we own our own identity. We operate in a sense of calm confidence from a new place of identity. Make that alignment of not being a reactive parent, but being a very, very responsive parent. And then you thrive in your motherhood, giving them the tools, the rituals, and the mindset shifts that are needed. So these are the solutions I'm providing them. How to have not think about the other person, think about what you're doing is best for your kid, and healing themselves from within. If they have anger issues, healing that anger that is there within them. Where is this anger coming on that is bursting onto their child, right? So my child is angry. My child is angry. My child is angry is the first step. When you dig deep, oh, I am angry. Oh, why are you angry? Because my father was angry. And then he taught me how to be angry. I don't know how to handle my own anger. And that's how it goes, right? So I'm helping a lot with them, healing them their own self first, so that they can be a better version of themselves and then lead their child.
That's also a great message from you. First, you have to heal, then only you can heal others. I do understand that. So, people who are watching this interview, please go subscribe to our Women Today YouTube channel, and please go click on the bell icon so that you can receive notifications whenever I do post new videos regarding new women entrepreneurs and working women across different cities in India and also across different countries in the world. So, also speaking with Priyanka Pandey ma'am, we had a lot of things discussed about parent mentorship, and also at the same time, Priyanka Pandey ma'am is such a wonderful person. Not only the parents who come to her, she not only gives some kind of ideas how to actually uplift your children's life. It's also about uplifting your own life, because that's the thing which via her experience she told that whatever parents, poor parents meet Priyanka Pandey ma'am, they're just having a session, and when they're just going off out of the session, they'll be having some kind of larger clarity, broader idea about the views in their life, which will actually uplift their own life also. So that's a great thing, ma'am. Also, Priyanka Pandey, ma'am, is there any one kind of single message that you wanted to tell to people who are watching this interview right now? It may be to the kids, it may be to the old age people, it may be to the middle aged or the teenage people, it may be of any people who are watching this interview right now. What kind of message would you like to tell to the society watching this interview right now, ma'am?
That in a broader perspective, the message is just, just smile. Smile at everybody. Okay. If you smile at your own kid, the connection will build. If you smile at their grandparents, you will build that connection with their grandparents. If their grandparents are listening, they smile at their daughter-in-law, they smile at their son, you'll build that connection. So have that love, that compassion. That first step is that smile with each other. If you just smile, have that love and compassion with each other, I think your whole energy of your house will shift and change. So when the energy of the house changes, your parenting, no question, is going to improve. There is no question your relationship with your in-laws are going to improve. There is no question that your relationship with your spouse is going to improve. So it's just the energy game. Keep your energy high, keep it upbeat, just rock it, So yeah, that's my message for the people.
That's wonderful message. Of course, the energy determines each and everything. If you see a person who is totally charged, like the way the conversation was with you, right from the beginning, you are totally charged, you are totally amazing, happy, excited, and it was existing till the end of the interview. Like the interview went for more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours. I think it must be like more, 2 hours, but for this entire 2 hours, your energy was at a very high state. Of course, good energy actually kind of passes through other people. Of course, you had a very wonderful energy. And also, in the very beginning of the interview, you told the same message which you are telling right now. Of course, because I wanted to remind you the same message which you told right now. Even in the beginning of the interview, you told that if you want to speak something with others with love, the famous Hindi meaning, the famous Hindi sentence. I do not remember it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The pyar I remember. If you want to tell
yeah.
something if you want to tell someone with something with your pyar, with a
With
love and
love.
affection, with compassion, that person will be willing to do whatever things you wanted them to
Yeah,
do, because
yeah,
it's the love and compassion which
yeah,
kind of works with everybody. I do understand
yeah.
that. That's a wonderful message, and of course
Thank
it,
you.
it
Yeah,
came from the bottom of your heart. That's why
yeah.
you are able to tell it even at the end right now and
At
even
the
at the
end.
beginning.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
That's what I believe in actually. You'll go everywhere, even in metro station, train stations, go anywhere. Give that love and compassion and that love and beautiful energy to people around you. See how your work will start getting so faster. Your everything will start shifting in your life so much faster. Yeah.
yeah, of course. The thing is that typical Indian family will always, of course, most of people will tell to have some gratitude, to have some love and compassion. But the thing is that they're too much afraid of the kind of society that is outside the world. So they always tell the kids to remain in a very kind of compact manner. Of course, we should show some kind of love, affection, compassion, gratitude, but it's very limited. So whatever society you are over there, kind of just observe, kind of give some time, and be confident, be kind of aware of. I think that's the right thing. Be kind of
Yeah.
aware of your society. You don't need to yeah, that's the thing. We should show some love and compassion, but beware. I think that's the right thing. Beware of
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Be kind of shrewd, confident, beware of everything. Make sure your environment is totally safe. Only when your environment is totally safe, then you can very well show your love and compassion. Other than that, if you're going and showing love and compassion to each and every people, then kind of people will be kind of using you. So that's the thing which I wanted to tell, because of course we should kind of adapt the good thing, and also we have to adapt it in the way the society needs it. So beware of everything, and once you're in a secure and totally secure place, you can show your love, compassion to your near beloved ones, and you can kind of live the way, kind of live the life that you want. That's the great kind of message we got from you, Priyanka Pandey, ma'am. So once again, thank you for coming and joining this Women Today YouTube channel. That's a great, amazing knowledge about parent mentorship, which we got from you via this interview.
I'm glad.
And this is your Krishna hosting this Women Today YouTube channel. And today's our guest is Priyanka Pandey, ma'am, a wonderful parent mentor from Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. That's a wonderful conversation with you, ma'am. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
speaking with us, and good evening.
Yeah.
Have a very nice day, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that. Okay.
So
Bye.